Will, do you have any particularly fond memories of your grandmother?
When I was, I think 17,
Yeah.
I went and visited my friend Fabian while he had just gotten a job at the McDonald's that's like off of
Havendale.
Yeah. And I think my grandmother picked me up from high school, and I don't know why, but I was like really interested in my my family history at the time, because I never really asked. I never really like asked her about her dad or what she had gone through, you know, which is definitely a mistake on my part. And she told me a fun story about like how he immigrated over here when he was like 17 years old and was living in New York. And I think he went to a steel mill factory, and he was at a job interview, and they asked him like a couple questions like, can you do this? Can you do that? Whatever. And he's like, yeah, of course. They were like, all right, you got a job. Just show up here on Monday or whatever. And his first day when he came in, he found like one of the guys that was working one of the machines or whatever. He's like, hey, I just got hired. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. Can you show me? Can you show me what how to do this stuff? And like, you know, he worked there until he was in his either late 20s or early 30s. He saved enough to open up an Irish bar. We've got a picture of that in my my aunt's house now, and he died shortly after. Like maybe he owned it for like 5 years, and he died shortly after of a heart attack. But it was really cool to learn, you know. And she died a year after that, and it was really hard. I miss her every day.
I'm sorry, man.
That's okay.
When did she pass?
In 2008. It was like a couple months before I graduated high school.
Yeah.
It was really unfortunate. It was really hard. And you never really know when it's going to be your last time to talk to someone. So if you still have your grandparents, man, like ask them questions about your heritage, where you come from. Because you'll never know whenever you're never going to be able to do that. You have to get secondhand information from your parents, you know. I told you I was going to cry.
Heavy fucking way to open the episode, man.
Yeah.
From a spare bedroom in Central Florida, welcome to Debaser, a film podcast. I'm Jared Rusk, and I'm joined by my co-host, Will Taylor. On this show, of course, we explore both new and familiar movies as we bring you details and discussion about them, all in an effort to debase the films and ourselves. Today's episode, the 2024 indie action comedy, Thelma. Stay tuned.
You gotta kick it off with a killer to grab attention. Then you gotta take it up a notch.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us.
Who are you?
I'm Shiva, the god of death.
Cells. Interlinked.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
So Thelma is an independent film released back in June of 2024 that stars June Squibb, Fred Heikinger, Richard Roundtree, Clark Gregg, Parker Posey, and Malcolm McDowell. June Squibb, who turned 94 while filming this movie.
Oh, no shit. She actually is in her 90s?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, when she says that's how old as she is in the movie, I had to stop and go, wait, no, she looks like she's maybe
she does not look like she's
60s,
in her 90s.
early 70s.
Yeah.
No, she fucking turned 94.
That's insane, dude. They having this old lady fucking walk around and stuff.
Yeah,
That's
man.
fucked up, dude.
Well, I've known a couple people in their 90s, and they are not nearly as like
frail,
agile and stuff as June is in this movie. So like, good for her, man. But she turned 94 while filming this movie, and has never before had a leading role in a film, despite having been in movies since the 80s. Like, she's been acting longer than I've been alive. And I was going through her IMDb and like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you told me she was in Inside Out too as Nostalgia.
She's Nostalgia, which came out the same week as this movie. She's in a ton of Pixar movies.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, she's all over the place. But this was her first leading role. Richard Roundtree, who people will know as the original Shaft.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've seen that name before. I didn't realize he was Shaft. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. You're damn right. He sadly passed away before the film was released.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, so this is his final film performance.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah. Now, Thelma follows a 93-year-old... the movie Thelma follows a 93-year-old Thelma Post who gets duped by a phone scammer pretending to be her grandson. She then sets out on a treacherous quest across Los Angeles to reclaim what was taken from her. The film was written and directed by Josh Margolin, and this is his directorial debut.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
He's only done a couple of short films before this.
He did a really good job.
And it's based on his actual grandmother, who experienced almost the exact same thing.
Yeah.
She was received one of those scam phone calls.
Yeah.
And almost fell for it, but didn't end up sending the money.
Oh, that's
Thank
good.
God.
Yeah, that's good.
And that reminds me, I want to get this up top here. I am so glad that this film spotlights phone scams, because this is a rapidly trending scam right now, and it is affecting tons of people. It is happening. So please talk to the elderly people in your life, the boomers in your life, anybody, let's say over the age of 50 or 60.
Who might be tech illiterate.
Yeah. Because sit down and tell them that if they receive a strange phone call from you, or really any kind of message asking for money, to hang up and call you back directly. Because AI can do all kinds of weird stuff with voice impersonation now. It's very good. It's scary how good it is.
Yeah.
And even then, even without AI, I don't even think they implied that they used AI in this movie. I think it was just like the kid ends up just mimicking.
Yeah, he tried his best to mimic. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, you sound weird. Oh, well, they broke my nose, so I'm like more nasally.
Yeah. But I've actually heard that like they will use AI now, especially because people like you and I have a podcast, so our voice is just out there on the internet.
Yeah.
So they could easily create an AI that just sounds like us. I know, it's fucking weird. But they don't even need that much. They can just find like a single YouTube video of you and then have an AI do your voice now.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell the people in your life, like, hey, if you receive a weird phone call or text from me asking for money, just hang up or disconnect and then contact me directly and ask if that was real. Because yeah, this is happening all the time. It is a huge thing. It's disgusting. There was already a major heist pulled in Hong Kong, by the way, doing this, where an employee in an accounting department at a major firm.
Oh, that's right.
They did not release the name of the company, but it was a humongous company. You can tell because of the amount. But the employee was pulled into they said video conference call, so I'm assuming it was like Teams or Zoom. And they didn't say the name of what
they
it
had like a
actually was.
deepfake of the CEO or whatever.
Not just it was the CFO.
That's right. Yeah.
But not just them. It was a bunch of employees that were deepfaked in the call.
Yeah.
It was a conference call with multiple employees. They were all deepfakes. They were all artificial intelligence replicating the employees on the webcams.
So fucking insane, dude.
Yeah. And then the CFO in the call directs them to make like a $25 million wire payment. And the employee does it.
Yeah.
And they didn't realize till after the fact that it was all fake. Holy fucking shit, dude. We live in a brave new world right now. Totally that's so fucking weird.
Hey, that's the title of the new Captain America movie that's coming out.
Of course. Do you think it's going to reference the Aldous Huxley book at all? Or are they all doing drugs in it? Or?
I don't fucking know, man. We'll see.
So, Thelma, baby.
What a film.
Yeah. It's an independent film.
Which I was shocked by.
Did it look like a big budget to you?
It didn't look like a big budget movie, but it felt like competent, Like,
yeah.
And it had a bunch of people that I knew, like I know Parker Posey. She was in fucking Beau is Afraid.
Yeah.
I know.
Clark Gregg.
Yeah, he's Agent Clarkson.
Yep.
I know. Who's the guy from fucking I Think You Should Leave? Who just like what is his name?
Ruben Rabassa.
That guy. Yeah.
You love your mother-in-law.
Yeah. You flinched. You have to marry your mother-in-law now. I would like
a steering
car,
wheel that doesn't fly out the window.
A car too stinky,
too small.
Look, like it's too small when you get inside.
Okay, I have to say,
I saw that and I started freaking out.
The filmmakers loved him so much, and I Think You Should Leave, that they flew him out from Florida to be in this movie.
Oh, he's in Florida?
Yeah, he lives in Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta fucking find him. I need him to fucking
Ruben, come on to Baser.
Hit the fucking Yes.
You love your podcast. Yeah, it was an independent movie. I was struggling to find the budget. It wasn't listed anywhere except randomly on MoviePhone.com. Listed it as $5 million.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with that.
Sure.
But I looked everywhere. I normally look. I couldn't find it. And there were even people just asking out in the open on like
It's
Reddit.
like, how much did they spend on this?
Yeah, they were like, what was the budget of Thelma? No one can tell me. And then there was even like a Reddit thread I found where someone was like, I Googled what was Thelma's budget, and Google's AI told me it was $229 million. And I don't think that's right.
Whoa!
Yeah. Because it was like, that was like Deadpool or something. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now, I do know what it grossed at the box office. It grossed $9 million.
Hey,
so
that's a win.
more than likely it made a profit. I'm
Yeah.
sure. I don't think it cost that much. Now, on Rotten Tomatoes, it does have a 99% critic score
Wow.
and 85% audience score.
Okay.
Film critic Leonard Maltin wrote of the film, if it weren't for casting a bona fide nonagenarian, that's not a word you use every day, but it means 90-year-old,
Oh, wow.
in the title role, Thelma might not work at all, but it doesn't pander to its audience and treats its characters with dignity and a dash of comic exaggeration.
True.
Yeah.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah. It's a very honest film about aging,
Yeah.
while not being too serious. You know?
Yeah.
It has, I mean, not to just break into the top level, you know, how I felt about the film.
Hold on, wait. Do you have any more reviews before we move on? Do you
No,
have a
that's
letterbox?
it.
Does A.O. Debris watch this one?
I could not find a jokey,
Okay.
you know, fun little review on Letterboxd. It was all like people giving heartfelt
Oh, okay.
reviews, except for people like making like Tom Cruise jokes, which were not, honestly, they weren't very good. Maybe the best one was like, June Squibb could be Tom Cruise, but Tom Cruise could never be June Squibb. That was maybe the best one. I can't even attribute it.
Well,
to
that's
anybody,
fucking
but
good though.
It's
Hey,
okay. It's okay.
Jared Rusk.
I'm not. No, it's not. That's Stolen Valor.
We love
Somebody
Stolen
else
Valor
wrote
here.
that.
Dude. We love Stolen Valor. It's okay.
Apologies to Letterboxd user, whoever you are. Could be a bad person. You don't know.
It's true.
We don't know.
You know, sometimes bad people are funny. It is what it is. But to your point of whatchamacallit, how this film like shows aging, but in a respectful way.
Yeah.
Dude, absolutely. Like Haley sat and watched it with me because I gave her the premise. Like, hey, an old lady goes on a quest to get her money back. You know,
Yeah.
like, and it's an action movie apparently. And she's like, hell yeah, I'm fucking in, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we watched it last night, and or last night of the day of us recording this.
Yeah.
And partially through the movie, she's like, you know, this is like really important because we don't have a lot of films where an elderly woman is the
lead.
Yeah,
it's like it's good representation too.
And then not only that, but it's like rooted in reality because like when she said that, I was like, oh, well, we had 80 for Brady last year, but like that's a comedy movie that's not really realistic. Like this could be anybody's fucking grandparent, you know, except that they go on a revenge quest to get their fucking money back.
Yeah, but it never gets unrealistic.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like very
grounded,
believable,
which I was really impressed with because I was like waiting. I was expecting the movie to kind of jump the shark a little bit, if you will.
Sure, yeah,
and it never does.
No, like I think even the scene where it could have jumped the shark, was when she finally found the guy and got into his like crowded lamp store,
back office of his like little pawn shop,
and she's like. What's his name? Henry Roundtree is in her ear, like, okay, you got to Richard Roundtree. Sorry, okay, you got to go left, you got to go right. Pick your foot up. You got to watch out for this lamp. And it's like she's doing Mission Impossible.
It was so good because it felt like a spy movie where he's like walking her through like traps. But yeah, it was just navigating through like what would be for an elderly person like a difficult to navigate like tight storefront.
Yeah,
and then but when she gets in the back and confronts the guy. Like, it's very tense.
Yeah, it is.
And like,
because you don't know if these guys are just going to like push her ass over because she's old.
You don't know like what's happening here. Like, how is this going to play out? And even she uses that to her advantage by like faking like a fugue state sort of thing and is able to turn it around. But then, and you know, we're given the money.
Yeah, we've skipped like an hour and a half
right to the end. But but in order to like solve the crisis of this film, she has to navigate a computer. Something that like, you know, my grandmother needs help on the computer all the time.
Yeah.
Like, and I get like this movie really makes it understandable that like how confusing this is
on purpose too
for older people.
Yeah.
Because it's like they've gone their whole life and never had to deal with this. And now it's the whole fucking world revolves around it.
Yeah.
Because she's like, I want my money back. And he's like, I can't just hand it to you. It's in there.
It's in there.
Yeah. And so she has to navigate like logging into the guy's bank account, closing out pop-up ads, getting into his account and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, these are all like things you have to do now. And it sucks.
It does.
Because like when I worked at a bank, I was in a help desk for a while, and like you get old people calling in all the time being like, how do I like look at my bank account? Like I used to be able to like get my statements in the mail, and now you charge money for that. So I have to do it online. Like, what do I do? And you have to like walk them through it, but like you also have to get them off the phone.
Yeah. I had to do the exact same thing at Geico.
Oh God. Yeah.
Like helping people make a payment or setting themselves up for automatic withdrawals and whatnot.
Yeah.
And having to do it in a quick fashion because time is money, baby.
Yeah. They're not paying you to be on the phone. They're paying you to take as many calls as possible.
Yep.
And yeah, so if you're sitting there having to like walk someone through this who's never really done it, it's not in your best interest to really be at length with them.
Yeah.
And your bosses don't want you to do it. Your phone calls are being recorded.
Yeah.
So you got to be quick but polite. Oh man, it's so tough.
It is.
It's tough, man. But the message of this movie is like, you can't be fully independent, after a while, but like, that's okay. But like, yeah, you're losing part of your identity because of it, but like, it's better to try to accept the help and to help as many people as you can.
And it's not just that. I'm sure that the noise gate will
I hope so.
Get that. Well, anyways, it's not just that too, but it's like, you're never too old to ask for help. Like, cause there's a parallels between Thelma and her grandson.
Well, yeah. The youngest character in the film is like,
my life's
kind of the most worthless character.
Yeah, he's like, my life's a fucking joke. I can't remember anything. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. And I thought
he's kind of a fail son, which was like really,
I don't even
relatable.
I wouldn't even go that far.
Yeah.
I would like, because I don't want to call myself a fail son because I would definitely related with this guy. But like,
you got your life really together, especially compared to this guy.
Yeah, because I'm 34 now.
I know.
But when I was his age, I definitely felt the same way. I still have like problems remembering stuff.
Yeah,
but I thought there was going to be a small bit of commentary on this generation's or like, people who are just out of high school, not really knowing what the fuck to do to be an adult, because there isn't really any like life lessons. They don't teach you how to balance a fucking checkbook in high school, or at least they didn't for me, I learned about the Pythagorean theorem, but I have no idea how to fucking renew my license and shit. And you rely on your parents, but some people's parents, even if they were involved in their lives, didn't teach you these things. Like, my dad has no idea how to operate a computer. He is mostly illiterate. I couldn't fucking ask him to help me do that shit. I had to figure that shit out myself. Yeah. And it's difficult. It is difficult when you A, don't have a support network, or B, don't know how to ask or don't think to ask your support network how to do things. And that's the parallels between Thelma and I forgot his fucking name. I'm so sorry. The grandson though. What was his name? Danny or something?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll go with Danny. Sure.
The actor's name is Henry something. I struggled over the last name, but
yeah, it's okay. But like where everybody is doting on her to like,
he's if you've seen White Lotus, he's the guy that jacks off.
You're not serious, or for real? I didn't even catch that.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. Anyways, sorry. Because I have seen the White Lotus. But like, people are doting on Thelma to like make sure she's okay. Wear your fucking life band. You don't want to fall and nobody finds you.
Yeah.
Maybe you should live in an old folks home and whatnot. There's a lot of pressure on her to be in a community with other people.
To not live alone anymore.
Exactly.
It can be a danger. Yeah.
Versus him, he's trying to live on his own and no one is helping him.
Yeah. His parents are just nagging him
exactly. And like, you can tell that this kid is like maybe a little bit of a burnout and might have some anxiety, and it's all from his fucking parents being like very overbearing. Like, oh dude, every time the parents were bickering and shit, it was like, God, Jesus, shut up.
I will just say I felt very related to him when his parents were doing that whole thing where they're jumping all over him, and then
in front of two fucking strangers. Yeah.
And then just being like, oh, you need to do this and you need to do this and you need to get this together. I'm like, okay, well, telling me all of that right now isn't helping in the moment kind of thing, And
it's like this nervous energy. It's them taking out their frustrations and their anxiety on him. Like, oh, we have one person that's missing. We don't need a second person to like, go missing. You need to follow the rules, Henry, kind of shit. But yeah, it was,
and I will say too, having felt more, I mean, I didn't really have that much in common with Henry other than that, like, I am a son of two, like, overbearing parents. You know what I mean? But, like, I feel like I had my life together and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't.
But you're
even
also in your 30s.
Even at 24, I felt like I had it more together than Henry did in this movie. But, like, he's kind of like a burnout in Los Angeles. Like, that, whatever, you know. And he's, like, going through a breakup. So, like, he's in a really bad place mentally and stuff.
Yeah.
But I did still live at home at his age, you know, so like there's that.
Well, he likes hanging out with his grandma, which is really nice.
I was worried that the film was going to do a thing where it really spoke down to Henry's character, and it never did.
Yeah, no, it's relatable.
Yeah, it was more, and just like, you know, when I was hanging out with my grandma when I was in like some of the worst places in my life, she was just there to give encouraging advice.
Yeah.
You know, more like, you're going to figure it out. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got time. Don't stress out about this sort of stuff. It's exactly the kind of advice I got from my grandma, you know, when I was going through the worst of it, just like, you know, Thelma does in this movie to him, which was really nice. I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
Because like you could just kind of see like in a worse movie what was going to happen. Like either Thelma or some other character was going to speak directly to like the grandson and even the parents and just like start scolding them, being like, well, back in my day, we would have done this and you should do this and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And it doesn't do that.
It does
it's not
that.
condescending to any character.
No, yeah, this movie is definitely not.
Right. And it's very understanding and appreciative of even the elderly characters like Thelma and Ben, Richard Roundtree's character.
And Mona, too.
And Mona, too. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was
like the most heartbreaking
really fucking
one.
sad, yeah.
Yeah, where it's, you know, and when they're leaving, Ben's like, she shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
Like, somebody needs to be taking
But she's got no family. And that's like, this is a hard reality that there are elderly people out there who do not have their family.
Yeah.
And have no support network. I think like Mona is this, the worst case scenario. In another world, Thelma could be her.
Yeah.
I think is what
exactly
is what is being shown there.
Yeah. And Ben is afraid of that too. And that's why he's like, that's why I moved into that community or, you know, the home.
Not just that, but also like he didn't hear his wife fall.
Well, he gets into that because when Thelma starts like being like, well, you gave up and moved in there. And he's like, Thelma, like, I didn't hear my wife fall. Like, do you know how heartbreaking that is to know that like,
I'm partially the reason why she's dead.
Right. Like you have to like realize you do need help. Like you need to move into a community place like that, you know, and he makes such a poignant point about that.
Yeah. And not just that, but like he talks about the benefits of it. Like we learned how we can lift each other up.
Yeah.
If we
so
do
literally,
find
pick up people that have fallen,
you know,
and you know, it's a little on the nose, but he gets to do it immediately afterwards when she falls over after walking away.
15 minutes afterwards, but still.
But yeah. Was it even actually?
It was because he had just chased her down. They were riding on the motorbike, the scooter or whatever. And this was before.
Oh, I thought it was as soon after, like right after the thing crashes and she just storms off. But
no. Yeah,
right,
they were on the scooter. They had just stopped to get. It was right before they had to stop to get it charged, and the family shows up to like find them and whatnot.
Oh, all of that. Oh, wow. Okay, I had like condensed all of that. I guess. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was definitely like it was so on the nose, right? That Haley was like, "Oh, that's Chekhov's falling down instructional or whatever."
Yeah,
you know, she didn't say it like that, but you know, she's like, "Oh, that's going to come up later on." And like, of course it is.
Yeah,
you know,
it's really clever how she uses her hearing aids as like the little, you know,
so good
two-way radio with Ben. You know, that's so clever.
There's a lot of clever things that are being done in this.
Yeah,
you know?
It's shockingly a good screenplay for someone who has written so little.
I know, right?
I'm really impressed with it. Yeah.
But like, I mean, he's coming from a point of realism. Like all of this is rooted in reality, other than, you know, like, I don't know if any 90-year-old woman would, you know, hunt somebody down to fucking get there. And like, how often is it ever anybody in America that does like the scam calls? Or are you saying that the scam calls are done in America?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, there's some coming from overseas too.
All I ever think about is like the ones from India, but regardless.
Yeah.
So other than that, like fantastical thing, this is all shit that I could have probably, you know, come up with if my grandmother had been scam called and whatnot. Yeah. So I think it's like taking a negative that happened in real life and then like applying your personal experience to film and making it a little bit fantastical.
Yeah.
Who was the villain in this? Michael McDowell. Did you know he was in Killzone?
Really?
He's a main antagonist in Killzone 3.
That's a big get for them.
Yeah, I know.
He's a big actor.
I know he is. Yeah, when I saw him, I was like, holy shit. Like, he was in the terrible Silent Hill movie, the second one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was in the second.
He's also the bad guy in Fallout 3.
Is he really? Is he the guy in the checkered? Oh wait, not.
He's
sorry.
like a
That's not New Vegas. I'm
disembodied.
so sorry.
No. It's
Yeah.
3, and he's like a disembodied voice.
Huh.
He's like in a machine.
Okay.
Man, I
Have not played that.
put
in a really
so many
while.
hours into that, but it was a lifetime ago.
I feel you.
But he is like the main villain, I think, at the end of it.
Yeah. But yeah,
forget
when I
who
saw
the
him, I was like,
character
oh shit, that's the guy from Killzone 3. Cool. Whatever. This is awesome.
It's kind of shocking how much stuff he does, and he was in so many big movies.
Yeah.
He's the main character in Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, that's right.
That was like his
his thing. Yeah.
big movie.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
he's
how
in-
the mighty have fallen. Now he's in indie
no, he
movies.
does everything.
I know, I'm just fucking around.
Yeah, when I realized he was the guy, and then also like another elderly person was
Yes.
like the antagonist, basically.
Yeah, he was like, hey,
and it was really his grandson was helping him do it.
yeah,
Like
Yeah,
the
this is
parallel between
another-
that was so ironic. It was it was clever, you know.
yeah. This guy is hard times, and he's doing what he can to survive.
And he's smoking with an oxygen tank.
Yeah.
you know?
That was good.
It was really sweet how when she's transferring the money and she looks over at him and he just like groans, you know, and looks away, and she like takes it from the full 10,000 down to 9,500.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. And then she's telling him to stop smoking. It's bad for you.
Yeah, she just like lectures him when she walks away. She's like, you should stop smoking and be nicer to your grandson.
Stop calling him a dumbass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even in the way that like it doesn't in like an action movie, you know, it's just she gets revenge her way.
It
you know what
does
I
end
mean?
like an action movie because she walks away from an explosion and doesn't look back because that's what badasses do.
I thought that was going to be so much bigger too. I was so glad it was just a little tiny, like
Yeah.
self-contained thing, and nobody noticed it.
It's so good. Well, the hearing aids probably weren't working. so-
No, that's why. Yeah. God, what a cute movie.
It was great. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Is there anything that stands out to you or anything that you like particularly loved?
Not that I haven't already pointed out.
Okay.
You know, it was a really sweet, endearing movie that really made me want to call my grandmother. You know, haven't visited her in a while since the kids, so
You probably should.
want to pack the bags and head up there soon. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well, on that note, I saw Trapped.
Yeah, I would say
Trapped, not Trapped.
How far are you in?
We're about 30 minutes.
Back off! I'll take you in. Just kidding. You should
strong to take on anyone.
You should definitely put in a fucking Trapt song right here, but actually don't because that guy fucking sucks.
You know, he sucks a lot.
Yeah, he's the worst.
They suck. Anyway.
It was such a bummer because like that was like my anthem in fucking middle school, man. I loved all that
You
crappy
just
rock
chug
music.
a Mountain Dew and put on some Trapt.
Actually, you want another fun story?
Please.
Right. So, I went to Jewett Academy. Our gym class.
Yeah.
They got gym equipment in my last year there.
Okay.
And so there's like weightlifting.
2004?
I guess. Yeah. Oh yeah. That
Or
would
no,
be
you're a
it.
year older than me, so...
No, I'm not. I'm the same age as you.
Oh,
I'm 34. You turned 34 this year, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I turned 35 at the end of the year. So I'm
You're like 3 months older than
Yeah,
me. That's
exactly.
what it is. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
So they got like weightlifting things and treadmills and all this other shit. And so like every, I think Tuesday and Thursday, that was gym, right?
Oh, nice.
And
Wow, we didn't even have that.
I can't remember our coach, who did eventually die of testicular cancer.
Oof.
Yeah, it was really
R.I.P.,
unfortunate because he
man.
was like a really good guy.
Yeah.
And he had like kids and stuff. It's all sad, but he was really
man.
cool. And he would play the fucking rock station. Like it was all rock music, but it was like rock of 2004. So it was fucking Trapt and Linkin Park.
It was either
And-
1011 or 98 Rock.
It was 1011.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was my favorite one at the
Exactly.
time,
And
yeah.
they had like Chevelle and shit like that. And I remember like, I have a very vivid memory of getting on the treadmill and fucking Headstrong was on. I was really fucking feeling it and I was running my heart out. And they had like a weight machine that was like the next thing so you could see like your progress and stuff. And I remember like I had hit 104 pounds. I was over 100 pounds, you know, and like I was a very skinny kid. So it was all either muscle or bone density. And I was
Yeah.
like really happy about
Wow.
that. Yeah. So...
Man, I wish I had a fucking gym class.
Yeah, I know. You were Jewett School of the Arts. Jewett School of the Farts.
Dude, we sucked so bad. I have nothing nice to say about that school. I'm sorry. I had a bad experience there. And it was like all like rich kids.
Was it?
And so when I went back to like my public school for high school,
Yeah.
like I had been so mean. I had gotten so used to being like cold hard exterior, like really, mean and nasty.
Yeah.
To like, just to stand a chance with those kids.
Yeah.
And when I went back to like all the normal kids at the public school, I was such a dick, and they were all just like, Jared,
bro,
why are you such an asshole?
Dude.
Yeah. It's just. Have you ever seen 30 Rock?
I have, but I have not seen it in a while.
Oh, there's an episode where the main character Liz Lemon realizes like it wasn't that she was the nerdy girl that got made fun of by everybody.
Yeah.
She was actually an asshole to everybody, and they all were bullied by her.
That's funny.
And she doesn't have this realization, like everyone has to kind of point it out to her. And she starts like reevaluating memories she has in high school, and you see her bullying the other kids and making them cry. Because they'll be like, Liz, do you still have the math homework from last night? And she's like, I don't know. Does your mom still have that pill addiction?
Holy shit.
That was kind of my experience.
Oh my God,
I had
Jared.
to like tone it down because I got bullied so hard at Jewett that like it made me an asshole. And so when I went back to like my high school, which was like a different level of kids,
right?
They were not all rich kids, you know what I mean? So they were nicer.
Damn,
I'm being like kind of elitist.
Well,
not all the rich kids were mean, but like a lot of them
I was actually
were.
going to say, Jared, like the kid who had one of the 3 Yodas from the one episode, he was in Jewett Academy. Like he went to school with me. We were in every single class with each other. And he had one of 3 Yodas.
I don't know the dynamics of Jewett Academy. I didn't go there.
I got you.
It was next door.
Okay, yeah.
But a lot of the kids at Jewett School of the Arts were fucking mean, and it was a magnet school, so like it would just bring in rich kids from other school zones.
I got
stuff. And it was a mix of like people who lived nearby, and then the kids from other school zones. And the kids, surprise, surprise, that they bust in from other school zones were the fucking dicks, So like
surprise, surprise.
And I saw something the other day that was about how like private schools are notorious for like being full of like snotty, mean kids. And like, in my experience, it's fucking true.
I understand.
Because when I went back to my local high school, my public high school, everybody was cool. Like I didn't get into fights anymore. That was, one time there was a guy on the bus, but fuck that guy. But it was in middle school where I was constantly having to fend off people that wanted to fight me, and it was like, what the fuck, dude? I'm just minding my own fucking business.
That's wild, man.
I just want to watch The Matrix every day and listen to Korn. Leave me alone.
That's fucking great, man.
Anyway, middle school ran over. I'm sorry.
Did you
I don't know where that came from?
Did you by any chance like find one of these people and put them in your basement and then like put some cameras on them so that you could watch them while you were at the ball game with your daughter?
I did not, but you know who did.
Let's hear it.
Not quite, but okay.
I actually don't know the plot of this fucking movie. I'm not going to go see it. So.
Okay, I will spoil.
Yeah, let's hear
Trapt.
I want to hear about it because it's directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
It is.
And
so
I have a vehement hate for him.
I know. I do think if you have the opportunity to watch it, I would encourage you to do so. Give it a shot because I think you will like it. It does not do before I get into spoilers, if you're still listening, I will warn you when I'm about to just full on spoil a movie, but I will only spoil what's in the trailer before I give you a warning.
Okay.
For the listener at home. So I saw Trapt the other day. I was very excited for it because the trailer sold me. I'm like, M. Night Shyamalan is back, baby. I haven't seen a movie of his in a long time because I feel like he was not back, and now he is fully back, I think.
Okay.
Anyway, premise of this movie from the trailer is that Josh Hartnett is a fun-loving, nice dad who is taking his teenage daughter to a big pop star concert, a la like Taylor Swift, but her name is like Lady Raven, played by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, which is great. And and she's like so excited, and he's like, yeah, I get to be like a great dad. This is fun. And then he notices that there's a ton of cops and like SWAT teams at the concert. And so he pulls like one of the merch vendors aside, and he's like, hey, what's going on? Why is there all this like police presence? And he's like, okay, I'm not supposed to tell anybody this, but you know that serial killer that's going around chopping up people, the butcher? Well, the police found out that he's supposed to be here today, so they're laying a trap for him at this concert. And then Josh Hartnett goes, oh, wow. And then his like big goofy smile turns into like a slow frown. And then he pulls out his phone and looks at like a camera on his phone, and you see that he has someone tied up in his basement.
Some dudes there,
implying that he is the serial killer they're there to trap.
And then
and that's the premise of the movie.
And then I remember you being like, that's got to be the serial killer guy.
So
that's the twist.
I will say, this is M. Night Shyamalan.
Yep.
I feel like we have been conditioned from his movies to expect some kind of weird rug pull or twist.
That's what he does.
But he has...
You told me that he doesn't do that in this.
He has been backing off of that. So I'm going to... Here are these spoilers.
When did he back off from that? When?
Well, hang on.
Okay,
Here, before we get into spoiling other movies, let me just give the spoiler warning here.
Okay.
Here be spoilers, so maybe skip ahead or...
Yar.
Yeah.
Here be the spoilers.
Skip ahead quite a few minutes after this part if you don't want to be spoiled on the movie Trapt.
Yeah.
So, yes, I feel like he quit doing it around Glass.
Oh, did Glass come out after Old? Yes, it did. It
Yes.
did come out after Old. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Because I can't think of the last time he did it. Because Old...
He did it in Old.
Up front.
No.
No, it's up front.
No. He did it in Old.
Is it that it's the pharmaceutical company?
Yeah. It's a pharmaceutical company that's trying to test.
Is that not explained until like the very end?
Yeah, it's not explained until the very end.
Oh, I guess I got that spoiled for me then.
Yeah.
Well, then that does it, I guess. I guess Old does do it then.
Yes.
The beach that makes you old.
It's fucking stupid, dude.
It's the beach that makes you old.
I don't
know what more there is to say.
I hate that fucking movie.
Anyway, Trapt does not do a rug pull. Trapt is on like what you pick up from the trailer is the film.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, and that is like the first hour at the concert. It's great. There is so much tension because even if you know that going in, it doesn't spoil the setup. Yeah. Like it is very engrossing. There's a lot of tension because you get from the moment that something's off. You know? Josh Hartnett is I love him personally.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Okay, I'm glad you feel the same way.
I love Josh Hartnett too, and I remember there's been a very long time where he did nothing.
No, he disappeared.
Yeah, and then he I remember I was watching Black Mirror. Like Black Mirror had just come back. Either it was last year or the year before that, and he was in one of the episodes. It was the best episode of the season, by the way.
Yeah,
and I remember like turning to my wife and being like, "Damn, dude, what has he been up to?" Recently.
The only thing I can think of that he was doing during that big period where he disappeared was Penny Dreadful, that like Showtime horror show.
Oh my fucking God, that's right. He
did
was
like
in that.
many seasons of that.
Yeah.
And I never saw it. I hear it's okay. I might check it out one day.
I know that my wife liked the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Or the first season, maybe season and a half.
But I think he's just done a lot of middling things.
I got you.
And then he's just been popping back up in movies lately. And
what else has he been in?
He was in Oppenheimer.
Oh my God, that's right. He was.
Yeah,
I forgot that. Yes.
Honky in that movie too.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put that out there. And I will say I first loved him in The Faculty.
Okay.
The 1999 Robert Rodriguez horror film about the high school students being attacked by aliens. Great movie. He played Zeke, who like I kind of like modeled myself after in middle school.
It's all coming together.
I dressed and made my hair and acted like him. Yeah,
Gotcha.
for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. He was like the epitome of like cool guy.
He was cool
because he was like a burnout, but also he was a nerd, and he was the hero of the film by the end. And I love that turn so much. I'm like, everyone thinks he's just like this weird stoner drug dealer guy, but he's actually a nerd and really cool and nice.
Gotcha. I modeled myself after Josh Hartnett from Black Hawk Down.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. I didn't actually do that. But yes, that's where I remember him from that in 40 Days and 40 Nights.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he is. And he's in like a couple other different things. I can't remember all the stuff that he was in, but he was like really big and really pushed in like the early 2000s.
No, he was supposed to be like a huge like leading man.
Yeah.
He was also in another movie. It's like a rom-com where he gives up sex.
That is 40 Days and 40 Nights.
Oh, wait. No, he did 30 Days a Night. That's what I thought you said. Isn't he in that too?
Yes, he is. And he's fantastic in that.
I thought that was the movie you said.
No. 40 Days and 40 Nights.
Oh my God.
Is the one where he gives up sex. 30 Days of Night is where
he gives up the sun.
He gives up the sun because he's a vampire. That's right. Exactly. Except like he, fucking dies at the end.
Yeah, that was the big twist. I was like, yeah.
Dude, that movie was so good.
It's great.
I remember like that movie
that little girl in that store is like the most fucked up part of that movie.
Did I ever tell you the first time I've ever almost threw up watching a movie was that film?
Whoa.
And it was when he was axing his friend's head off.
Yeah.
Like the second swing in was like just visceral enough to where I was like, ugh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I like it almost got me. I was like, holy shit. This was like another one of those movies that made me feel something, because I believe that movie came out it came out after Saw. So after I'd seen that and I had a taste for the weird shit.
Yeah, yeah.
And I either
like gory films.
Gory, yeah. And I want to say that it came out around Halloween when I was 18. I think
that sounds right.
I think me and Haley saw it on a date.
I remember renting it with my parents.
Yeah. And I was like enamored with it. I thought it was so good.
Yeah.
You know, especially because like Twilight was out at the time and, Yeah, Twilight was out in theaters.
Damn, I felt like it was earlier than
and
that,
it was like glittery fucking vampires and shit. And this was like very, like, I have the graphic novel at home. Like, I loved it. It was so good.
That's a cool movie.
Yeah.
I should revisit that.
We should.
I wonder if it's held up. But yeah, I love Josh Hartnett. So I was like already in the bag for this movie. I'm like, finally, Josh Hartnett renaissance, you know?
Yeah.
But he's a very personable guy who is able to like...
He's charming.
He's a sociopath.
Yeah.
He is able to manipulate people.
Sure. Yeah.
By just being very endearing and nice. And the movie like knows how to film that well. Because like when he pulls the merch guy aside, famously in the trailer, but like the camera pulls in so close to both of them because he's being very personal with the guy.
Yeah, he's like in the guy's personal space.
Right. And he keeps doing that thing where he puts his arm on your shoulder. Yeah, he's like, hey, how are you doing? You know, sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I'm sorry about that.
But like even before that scene in the trailer, like he sets up with that guy that he's a good dude because like,
oh, I'm here with my daughter.
Well, his daughter wants the same shirt that this other girl wants. And he tells his daughter, like, and there's only one shirt left. And he goes, oh, hey, just let her have it. Like, it's okay. And then the t-shirt vendor is like, hey, you guys are good people. Like, listen, there's more of those shirts in the back. Like, if you come back in 10 minutes, I'll get it for you. And that's when he comes back and asks them about the police.
Okay.
And so, but the camera pulls in on him so tight that it's like uncomfortable when he's like, hey, man, so what's like, there's like some crazy shit going on. Like, what is this? And it's like, you see why the guy opens up to him. You know what I mean? Like, it's believable.
He's being relatable.
Because there's a lot of like, talk online right now about this movie about how unrealistic like some of the dialogue and interactions feel. Well, I'm like, no. The whole point is like he's a sociopath. He's able to manipulate people and get away with things like this in this movie.
Right.
Also, how familiar are you with the Hitman video games?
You know what's funny is I remember like being the target demo and never picking them up because
back in like the PS2 days
because they were on the PlayStation 2 and guess who did?
Well, they were on Xbox 2.
Oh, were they?
And Hitman 2 was on the GameCube. That was how I first got it.
Oh, see, I didn't have the GameCube and I didn't have a PlayStation 2 and I got the Xbox, the original Xbox, maybe a year before the 360 came out. So I just missed out.
Okay.
And I never like cared enough to...
And you didn't play any of the new ones, right?
Nope. I never cared enough to like visit the series.
So I highly recommend, it's called Hitman World of Assassination now. It's like the last 3 games all bundled into one thing as like one game now.
Sure. Yeah.
And amazing. They have figured out like the Hitman games were very like hit or miss at first. I've been a fan since the beginning, but they're very hit or miss, I will admit. But the last 3 since Square Enix, IO Interactive broke off from Square Enix and gone independent, they have figured out the formula. And the Hitman games are so fucking good. In fact, they're doing a James Bond game now because of it. Cool. And I'm so excited for that. But anyway, Hitman World of Assassination, highly recommend it. It's it's not a shooter. It can be, but it's not supposed to be.
Right.
It is a game where you are trying to set up either accidents or just deaths for people in this huge map that you just walk around and figure out, what are the pieces? What can I do? How can I manipulate this? This movie, Trapt,
does that
is a Hitman level. He is walking around this convention center trying to figure out, what can I do here? Very tense situation where you think he's going to kill somebody with a box cutter, but he very pointedly doesn't. And you're just like, whoa. Because it's constantly like playing with like what you think is going to happen. And then it doesn't. And
what a twist.
Like, holy fuck. You know, it's like the tension though. It's and people make this comparison all the time with M. Night, but it's very Hitchcockian where there's just so much dramatic tension and it's just building and building and building to where you can't take it. You know, it's so well done.
That's good.
Well, folks, that's about our show. Another Blackberry. Thank you for listening to The Baser. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to us on your podcast app and follow us on social media by searching for @TheBaserPod. My wonderful co-host is Will, and you can find Will on Instagram @pocket_infinity. Will, I understand you are working on stuff that you can't really showcase yet for the grand narrative at the end of the year.
Yes. That is exactly what's happening.
All right, we're going to speedrun right through this.
Yeah.
Definitely not round 2. Wow.
Holy shit. Dude,
it may have been from the AC.
The spirit of fucking movies are done with us now, too.
And hey, if you listening out there have a recommendation of a film for us to cover, shoot us a message on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, what have you. And we will definitely take it into consideration. That's how Saltburn got made. And so for September, we'll be fielding some pitches. But we got October locked down. I think we're going to be doing queer horror cinema. So that's going to be exciting.
Bringo.
Exactly. All right. Well, for the Debaser podcast, I'm Jared. Goodbye. Debaser is hosted and produced by Will Taylor and Jared Rusk. Want to email the show? Send it to podcast@debaserpod.com. Want to help us out? Please leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice, especially Apple Podcasts. If you write a 5-star review of Debaser on Apple Podcasts, I may read your review in a future episode. Thanks for listening, and take care out there.